Today we're going to explore two methods of long division. The first method we're going to look at is called the partial quotient method. This is kind of a good introduction into long division and is perhaps maybe a slightly easier method if you're not as comfortable with your math facts. So here we have 84 divided by 3. Let's imagine that we have $84 and we're going to try to share it equally between 3 people. The first step in the partial quotient method is we're going to draw this long bar down that side of the little division house sign. Now what we do is we ask ourselves, 3 times what number could I take out of 84 without going over? Now, since multiplying by tens is easy for me, I'm just going to start with 3 times 10. Now, I ask myself, 3 times 10 equals what? Well, that equals 30, and I write it right underneath the number I'm trying to divide up. Once I've done 3 times 10 equals 30, I simply subtract that amount from 84. So I do that, and I see that I get 8 minus 3 equals 5. So now I have $54 that I'm trying to give away. So far I've given $10 to each of the 3 people in the group. So again, I ask myself, 3 times what number would give me something close to 54 without going over? Well, I could actually take another group of 10 out. So 3 times 10, again, gives me 30, and I write that right underneath that new number I got. I subtract it. 54 minus 30, 4 minus 0 is 4. 5 minus 3 is 2. And now I see I have $24 I'm trying to split. $24 I'm trying to split between 3 people. Okay, so I think of myself, 3 times what can get me as close to 24 or maybe even equal to 24 without going over? Oh, well now I remember that 3 times 8 is going to give me 24. So I do 3 times 8, and it gives me exactly 24. Now I subtract 24 from 24, and I get my answer of 0. Once you get 0 at the bottom of this long division problem, that means you have no more money that you can divide up between groups, and there is no money left over. So here is how much money each person got. So now I have to add those up. These are called my partial quotients. So I simply add up 10 plus 10 plus 8, which gives me 28. And then I put my answer up on top. So each person got $28. Now, if I wanted to check my work, I could simply do 28 3 times, because that's how much each person got. And if you work that out, it does equal 84. So each person will get $28. Now we're going to look at this same problem of $84 divided into 3 equal groups using the traditional method of long division. Now this is quite different. Instead of drawing the long line down here, I simply start by asking myself, 3 times what number will get me close to 8 without going over? So, what do you think that would be? Well, if you guessed 2, you'd be right, because I know that 3 times 2 equals 6. So I write my 6 down here underneath the 8, and then I subtract 8 minus 6 equals 2. Now, this is an important step to remember, and it's important to line your numbers up very carefully. I have to bring down this next number all the way down to right there. So now I'm trying to figure out 3 times what number will get me as close to 24 or equal to 24 without going over. So what is 3 times what will get me close to 24 or exactly equal to 24 without going over? If you guessed 8, you got it right, because 3 times 8 equals exactly 24. Then I do 24 minus 24, and I get 0. Again, when you get 0 at the end of your long division problem, that means you're all done and you have no remainders. So my answer is each person will get $28. Now we're going to try these two long division methods with some larger problems. Here we have $692 divided into 4 equal groups. Let's see how much each person will get. In this case, since we're doing the partial quotients method, we have to start by drawing the long tail down the side of the division house. Once again, we start by asking ourselves 4 times what number will get us close to 692 without going over. And you want to make it easy for yourself. So since I like multiplying by numbers that end in 0, I'm going to do 4 times 100. And when I think in my head, I know that 4 times 100 is going to give me 400. I subtract that from 692, I get 2, 9, 2. And now I have to ask myself a new problem. 4 times what number will get me close to 292 without going over? Well, let me think about this. I know that 4 times 5 equals 20. So if I just add a 0 on the end of that, I know that 4 times 50 will give me 200. And I can subtract that easily from 292. I do my subtraction, I get 2, 9, and then the 2's cancel. So I have 92 left. Once again, we have to think 4 times what number will get me close to 92 without going over? Well, I know that 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 20 would give me 80. Let's try that. 4 times 20 gives me 80. Subtract it. 2 minus 0 is 2. 9 minus 8 is 1. Okay. Now I have to think again. 4 times what number will get me close or exactly equal to 12? Oh, I know. 3. Now I know that 4 times 3 gives me exactly 12. And I subtract it, and 12 minus 12 is 0. So now I know that I'm done. Now the last part I have to do is add up all these parts of my quotient, or my final answer. 100 plus 50 is 150, plus 20 is 170, and 170 plus 3 is 173. So each of the 4 people would get $173. Now we're going to look at the same problem using the traditional method of long division. So when I use the traditional method of long division, I start by looking at the biggest place value. And I think 4 times what number gets me close or equal to this number without going over? So 4 times what will get me close to 6 without going over? I know that is going to be 1, because 4 times 1 equals 4. and that's smaller than 6 without going over. So 6 minus 4 gives me 2. Now, in the traditional method, you always have to remember to bring down the next available number. So the 9 comes down by the 2, and I have 29. Now I think to myself, 4 times what number gets me close to 29 without going over? Well, I know that 4 times 6 is 24. But 4 times 7 is even better. 4 times 7 is going to give me 28. And then I subtract that. 29 minus 28 gives me 1. And then I have to go get the other number that's still there and bring it all the way down. 1 and 2 makes 12. Now I think to myself, 4 times what number gives me close to 12 or exactly 12, but not over 12? And I know that that is going to be 4 times 3. 4 times 3 equals exactly 12. So when I subtract that, I get 0, and I know I'm done dividing it up. And my final answer is waiting for me at the top. Each of the 4 people will get $173.